Hey everyone, I'm Anthony Comacheco with Discipline Wealth Solutions, and with me is Brian Ballantyne. And today we want to talk to you a little bit about stages of your business. And I'm going to ask Brian a question. What challenges have you seen people face with the stage of business?
Yes, so I personally have gone through a lot of stages myself, and I've seen a lot of peers go through stages. So those stages present different challenges. They present different opportunities. And I think one of the things that's consistent in all those is they all need training. Training to handle the situation and opportunities they present. So usually when you're either younger or you're hungry to expand your business, we call that a growth training mode, right? And that doesn't mean you're young necessarily, I guess. You could be 25, you could be 65, but you're trying to expand your business in some manner. So training that will allow you to take your business from the level you're at today to the next level. And so that's the first stage that I see. That stage could be multiple stages. So you have stage one, that could be stage 1, A, B, C, D. Again, if you're 55 or 60, you're doing it for multiple generations or team members or et cetera to continue to grow. We've done that here ourselves, right? We've been around a long time, but we're continuing to grow and add. We've always been in that growth stage, so we're kicking it up a notch. And we think that's great, right? So we've been in a perpetual growth mode. So I think training for that and continual training models that continue that to the next stage are important. And so I've seen that, and I've seen the failures of that too, right? So I think what sometimes people have, Anthony, is or don't have, is they don't have a place or resource. Like they say they want to grow, they don't know where to grow. And so inevitably they go in the corner and they don't grow. They don't know what to do, right? The other stage, nothing wrong with this as well. Maybe someone's been through that growth stage, maybe hit that 55, 60-year-old time frame, maybe younger for some folks, maybe older for some folks, and they decide, hey, I just want to maintain, have a lifestyle practice, sometimes it's called, serve the clients, they've grown their client base, and nothing wrong with that, but they need training around the services that are needed to do that, to properly serve their client, maintain that, handle the what ifs. So there's still training, just different types of training. So what I really see is a missing of all these training opportunities out there. And I think our industry does a pretty poor job of that. And we've talked about this in our other videos. I think a lot of this is due to, there's a lot of vendors out there, right? I don't like that term. You know, there's a lot of, whether it's asset managers, whether it's computer vendors, whether it's whatever, there's just not a lot of partnerships. Right? And what we always talk about in our business is how do we seek partnerships? And there's a huge difference in a partnership and a vendor, right? And you and I joke, and I'll ask you a question. What's the first thing I always ask when we talk about bringing on a new vendor or partner and what we're going to talk about? What's the first question I ask?
How do I fire you?
How do I fire you, right? So how we're going to keep one another honest is if we're going to get out of a contract in an easy manner, and if we can get out of the contract and we get out of holistic, so part of that, like in an asset man, we'll just, because at the end of the day, right, for the most part, financial advisors are really dealing with asset management, and we do a lot of other things, right? But if we're gonna go into a relationship, kind of like a prenup, right?
Yep.
You know, that's kind of sometimes a bad term, but if we're gonna go into it and say we're gonna exit it if we ever depart, in a fair and equitable manner, we'd give you back what you started with, and maybe even what we grew. If we're gonna be big boys and big girls, so part of that would be even data, right? Like if they're your clients and you grew your business and I just supported you as a partner and you left me, I'm not gonna be moany and groany about it, right? I'm not gonna have, excuse my language, but have my panties in a wad and feelings hurt because I no longer served you as a partner. I'm gonna lovingly help you because that's what I'm called to do. That's what good partners do, right? That's what adults do. What do kids and whiny people do? They say, I'm not going to share my toys because you're not playing in my sandbox. We see that. You see that. Sometimes when they're bought by private equity, they start acting different. They start doing different things, right? So we see different companies bought and sold. We see different people change their culture. But we think ultimately it comes down to partnerships versus vendorships. And that really starts with training. So I kind of started this conversation with stages of business are, if you start with a training mindset, then your training in a business allows you to say, well, part of that is vendor selection, which really we prefer in our training to say leads to partner selection, right? And if we have good partner selection, then perhaps we've got partners that say, I want to help make us better together. And if we're not, I want to help make us both better apart, because that's what partners do.
That's great. And I'll just add to that. One of the things that I think we'll do at DWS will be put into writing, right? I mean, we'll share your data,
Right.
and we'll put it in writing. And I challenge everybody to go to your vendors and ask them to put it in writing. I guarantee that they will not put that in writing.
Well, most of them won't, right? Because there's very few partners out there. Some might. We have found some that do. And I say, yeah, I agree. I challenge you. There are good partners out there. We want to be a good partner. And we think there are good folks out there, but a lot of folks won't do the right thing, unfortunately. And look in the eye, and, the good, honest handshake, if you're willing to do that, put it in writing, do the right thing, do it all the time. And we're willing to also then put our energy and effort where that training is. And we're committed over this next coming year to pouring back into our advisor and our advisor relationships with that in our training to make them better advisors, whether they're on a growth path, whether they're on a sustained path, and then obviously picking partner selections, whether it's us or other partnerships that they pick. And we think that's important, not just to make them better advisors, but hopefully to have better business models and better outcomes long term.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're interested to learn more about the training and about partnership, don't hesitate to reach out to us.